So, when you hear the name the Queen Mother of the West, what comes to mind? Probably this elegant, regal goddess, right? Maybe she's in a heavenly palace, hosting this incredible party for all the other gods, serving up her famous peaches of immortality. And yeah, that's a classic image, especially from stories like Journey to the West. But that's only one part of her story, and it's definitely not where she started.
Because what if I told you that before she was the graceful matriarch of the heavens, she was something else entirely? Something, wild, dangerous, and a whole lot older. Okay, you're going to want to stick around for this. Let's get into it.
To really understand who she is, we have to peel back the layers and go way, way back to her earliest mentions in some really ancient texts. And that's where we uncover the truth about her surprising and honestly kind of terrifying beginnings.
Yeah, so forget everything you think you know about the serene, kind goddess for just a second. The original Queen Mother of the West was a being you would not want to run into, period. She was this raw, primal force of nature.
And get this, we're talking about a deity with a leopard's tail and sharp tiger teeth, who would let out these terrifying howls from her home on the Kunlun Mountains. And her job? Oh, just being in charge of plagues and punishments. Basically a divine enforcer. Some texts even describe her as a kind of death angel. A little different from the gentle host of a peach party, wouldn't you say?
So this is the big question, isn't it? How on earth does a wild, almost beast-like mountain god completely transform into one of the most revered and motherly figures in the entire Taoist pantheon? Well, it's a pretty fascinating evolution. Her whole career path is just incredible. So in the early stage, she's that wild mountain goddess we just met. Then we move into the middle phase, and she becomes the guardian of immortality. This is where that famous story about the archer Hao Yi comes from. He begged her for the elixir of life. Then finally, in her late stage, she gets this major cosmic promotion. She becomes the celestial CEO, the revered head of all female immortals, ruling alongside the East King Father. They're basically this creation couple pairing, keeping the entire cosmos in balance. So really, it all boils down to this absolutely dramatic before and after. She went from being a terrifying creature of the wild mountains to the absolute picture of grace and power in the celestial court. It's got to be one of the most incredible makeovers in all of mythology.
Of course, you knew this was coming. We can't possibly talk about the Queen Mother without talking about her most famous asset, the one thing that really cemented her A-list status in the heavens.
And we're not talking about just any old fruit here. The Pantao, the peaches of immortality, are the ultimate prize. They're grown in her own private garden on the Kunlun Mountains, and it's said that just a single bite can grant you eternal life.
And they are ridiculously rare. Just how rare, you ask? Well, one of these trees only bears fruit once every 3,000 years. So you can imagine the demand among the gods is pretty high.
I absolutely love this description. It just perfectly captures the hype, doesn't it? I mean, forget your superfoods and your supplements. This was the original ultimate wellness product for the divine. It guaranteed longevity. It was the most sought-after item in the entire celestial realm.
So, when you have a product that exclusive, what do you do with it? Well, you throw the most exclusive party in the universe, of course.
The Peach Banquet is the Queen Mother's signature event. You can think of it as the divine version of the Met Gala. All the most important deities get an invite to her palace to celebrate and, most importantly, to get their share of that life-extending fruit.
But an exclusive party is bound to attract a little bit of drama. And this banquet had maybe the most famous party crasher of all time, the one and only Monkey King, Sun Wukong.
His plan was pretty simple and, well, totally chaotic. First, he snuck into the garden and ate as many of the sacred peaches as he could. Then, he crashed the actual banquet hall, got drunk, and just caused absolute mayhem. He basically ruined the party of the millennium, and just like that, he became the #1 most wanted criminal in the heavens, creating one of the biggest scandals the gods had ever seen.
So okay, we've seen her wild past, and we've seen her super glamorous celestial present. But how do people actually relate to her today? Let's take a look at her role as a figure people actually worship. After all those centuries of evolution, her image has really settled. The fearsome beast is long gone, completely replaced by this kind, compassionate, and powerful matriarch.
She is seen now as the ultimate celestial mother.
So what do people actually pray to her for? Well, her divine portfolio basically covers the three biggest areas of life. You have health and longevity, so people might ask for recovery from an illness or a long, healthy life for their parents. Then there's family and marriage, where they pray for harmony at home or for having children. And finally, career and fortune, seeking her guidance to get through challenges and find success.
Ultimately, she has become the go-to deity for our most fundamental human desires. She's the compassionate ear for all our hopes about our health, about peace in our homes, and for stability in our lives. She's no longer a god of punishment, but a god of protection.
And that really brings us to the end. It is such an incredible journey, isn't it? From a fearsome mountain spirit to a benevolent mother goddess. Which leaves us with just one last thought. If you had the chance to meet her, which version would you want to encounter? The wild primal goddess with tiger teeth, or the graceful, elegant host of the celestial court?